Studies show that we talk more about bad service than we do talk about good service. But I'll tell you, if you've ever had incredible service, like the kind of service where it just felt like it was a perfect fit, the kind of service that made you become a loyal fan, an ambassador, you probably talked a lot about that place. Well, I want to tell you about two very similar situations on different ends of the service spectrum. They both happened on my anniversary on a date night. So, situation number one, we went out for dinner to just last Friday, October 16th is our wedding anniversary. It was literally our third date night in 2020. It's so sad. We've got 5 kids, and so you can understand. We go to this nice dinner, we sit down, the waitress does a great job. She's doing everything that you would expect. She's telling us about the specials, she's informing us of changes in the menu, she's nodding and giving us good body language. She's really, amicable and easy to talk to. And they had asked us when we reserved the reservation, when we made the reservation, if we were celebrating anything special, and we told them it was our anniversary. So there was a lot of information that this waitress was operating with. But then she asked us what we had planned next. Like, what are you gonna do next now that you're out on your date night? And then we told her, like with jubilant tones, we're gonna go to the movies. Now, we've been in a time warp. All of the movie theaters have been shut down for most of 2020, and movies are a big deal to us. We love going to the refreshment stand. That in and of itself is already just this huge experience. And we told her, we said, we're going to the movies. We were expecting her to have this great reaction. And instead, she said, what movie are you seeing? And we told her, and then she said, oh, yeah, that movie was so confusing. At that moment in my mind, I was playing this sound effect. Even though it went outside of the normal scope of her work, unfortunately, it impacted our overall service experience. Now, we'll keep going back there because the food is great. The service left us with more of a conversation about what was missing than what was there. On the flip side, I want you to imagine, what does every guy do when they go shopping with their wives? Like this guy. Okay, this is actually exactly what I would normally look like when I was waiting for Daisy to try on clothes. Yep, that's me right there. We were celebrating our 3rd wedding anniversary, and we went out shopping. I had never been to the store before, but she wanted to pick out an outfit. No big deal. So I just sat, I was just kind of relaxing, looking at my phone, and then this guy comes up, and he looks at me, and he says these words that changed my life forever. Hey, do you want a beer while you're waiting? It would be like if somebody offered somebody a jug of water while they were walking through the desert. Yeah. I had never been offered a beer before while waiting for my wife to try on clothes, ever. Like, that's never happened to me. And he gives me this beer, and it was cold, and it was perfect.
Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
And then he says, hey, by the way, while you're waiting, if you want to look at some of the men's clothes, it's over on the other side of the store. I had no idea they had men's clothes at this place. And so I get up and I start looking, and he says, by the way, you're a pretty tall guy. We've got a lot of stuff that kind of fits your body type. So suddenly I went from the typical dude sitting and waiting for his woman to finish trying on clothes to suddenly a beer holding shopper. I start trying on clothes, and lo and behold, we both left with new outfits that night. I went on to tell that story and went on to go back shopping there for years. And here's the difference. When it comes to creating really great customer experiences, we have to prepare ourselves for people that we have not even met yet. Now in marketing, they call this buyer personas. You're gonna go through and describe as much as you can about that person, so that way you are now prepared to meet them when they arrive. Now, if you were working for a limousine company and you had to pick somebody up, you can't just keep shouting out the name of the person. You might have some sort of description of what they might look like. That's kind of like buyer personas. When you create a persona, it helps you find the people that you're looking for that might be using your product or service. So in the case of the retail store, I think they probably did a lot of work with their people. I think they had a mini fridge with beers prepared specifically for dudes that were waiting for their significant others to finish trying on clothes. On the flip side, at the restaurant, how often do you think they have couples that are celebrating a date night or a wedding anniversary? Tons. And yet, when it came to the subject of the movie, instantly this person was shooting from the hip. Instead of thinking, you know what? Besides the movie, the fact that you guys are going out together and seeing a movie is huge, especially considering that it's 2020. Especially considering that you guys have 5 kids at home. That sounds like a wonderful idea. Even if she didn't agree with our movie choice, she could have just agreed with the bigger picture of what the movie stood for. That is the power of backstory. And that's one of the parts of the choreography of customer service. If you pre-order copies for you and your organization before November 12th, you will unlock some really great experiences, things like this and that and all of this. So, I want to thank you for watching. My name is Chris Lynam. I hope that this message finds you well. I hope that you are with me when I say that we're not just going to bring business back to usual, we're going to use service to surpass the usual.